Well, what made you finally decide to leave the Country Gentleman and go on your own?
Well, I had almost 8 years there, and it was a very beneficial
Great group.
move for me, you know.
Yeah.
And I had a great stay with them. Musically, I had the musical freedom to do within that band and that sound whatever I wanted to do. And when I would produce the music or arrange the music, it was always with the idea, we anchored it around Charlie Waller's voice. He had such a unique baritone voice, and I always felt like before that they might have been singing him too high and they were missing that big resonance that quality he had to his voice. And I began to lower the keys to where you could recognize the full potential of his voice, you know. And so I looked at music for them with the idea, well, how would Charlie, would this fit Charlie?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, the thing was, he was totally comfortable with me doing that. If he didn't like the song, he said, well, I don't care for that.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, okay, we'll pull it. And because you never make a man sing a song he doesn't feel comfortable with, he will not get a good feel for it.
Right.
The delivery won't be
Sure.
right. But deep inside, by that time, you know, after almost 8 years with him, I'd been 16 years in the business, always somewhere the sound was established. I guess when I worked with JD, we were kind of more free rein than
Right,
Jimmy
wasn't so
or the
established.
Gentleman.
Yeah.
But you know, Jimmy had a sound that was his identity, as did the Country Gentleman, and it was quite a task in some ways for me to conform to the Gentleman, because they were all from up in a little north of us, and I'm from East Tennessee, and so I told us, if you're looking for another Duffy, Goodrow type voice, then I'm probably not the guy you want, you know. And they said, no, this is what we want. So it worked, because I worked hard to conform to the style.
What were you looking for though when you went out on your own? What was the style?
If I wanted to try something, I didn't want to say, well, I can't do that because the people won't like what I'm doing. You know, I didn't want to be one-dimensional or two. I wanted to have total freedom.
Well, you do a lot of modern songs. You don't just do traditional songs at all.
No, it's not where the song comes from. It's the treatment of the song.
Uh-huh.
I take songs from everywhere, you know. My last album had an old Ames brother, a song called You, that was popular in the early 50s.
Yeah.
And I love harmonies, you know. I'm a big fan of the Ames brothers, the Sons of the Pioneers, obviously, and groups like that. I'm a harmony freak, you know, but I've never let where the song comes from stand in my way. In fact, is when I went to work with J.D. Crowe, I had my two cousins and I used to do that song, You Can Have Her, before I ever left home. And I said, Crowe, I used to do this with my cousin. He said, let's do it. So in the course, he said, hey, man, he loved Fats Domino and Chuck Berry and guys like that. You know, Crowe was he was a rocker.
Yeah.
I mean, I loved the early rock, you know.
Yeah.
He said, how about I'm Walking? So we just took Fats Domino's song, I'm Walking, made it bluegrass, as we did You Can Have Her, you know. I don't think you should put yourself to where you think that you're limited creative-wise. You should, anybody to try to take the creativity away from the artist, they're doing an injustice to the artist. He has to have that freedom of expression is a crucial part of what you are, and so if you're confined to this little box, not only are you missing a lot of stuff, but the people that listen to music are missing a lot of good stuff too, if they just only
Sure.
open their minds and listen to it. You know?
Well, you grew up around quartet harmony singing, gospel singing.
I did, yeah. My dad sang in an a cappella quartet most all my childhood, yeah.
And you didn't sing in the quartet, but you just learned all the parts.
Well, when they would, of course, when they would practice, and they practiced pretty faithfully about once a week,
Yeah.
and it was usually they would alternate between each member's homes, and I was just intrigued by the harmony, because they had gone and they learned to read the 7-note shape note
Sure.
music. I remember just a little fellow going with Daddy, and a fellow named Cecil DeWitt would come through in the summertime in Kingsport, and he'd have 2 weeks of school in a local classroom, the elementary school where I went to school, and it cost $5 a week per student. And I went with Daddy to watch that. I was too small to really comprehend it all, other than I really liked all the hand gestures, you know. But anyway, when they would practice, when the other kids were out playing in the yard or doing whatever, I'd sit right at their feet and I'd held on and watched everything, and nobody ever had to teach me anything about harmonies.
How do you think the black gospel music affects the Anglo bluegrass gospel music?
Well, you know what? It works both ways. The black groups liked our music just
sure.
And I'm sure it's like, there are people that are more one kind of music. Me, one of the earliest records I remember my dad bringing home was a song called "Let's Talk About Jesus" by the Bells of Joy, and I think it was on the Peacock label. I wore that thing. The groove I'd have to put it in one spot where I could understand it, but I wore it out, and I've got it now. I went and looked for it, and I found it, and I've got that record, And
you do a good bit of that material.
I do. Well, WSM was a 50,000 watt station, 650. Over here on the other side of the dial was the WLAC.
Oh yeah.
It's 1610 or 1620, somewhere around in there. 50,000 watt station. WSM, you had your country, Over here you had your rhythm and blues, and you had your gospel. You had Randy's Record Mart and the John R. Show and the Hoss Man and all those guys. Well, late at night I could crack my radio up. If WSM didn't come in too good, I'd go to the other side. And so I learned. I heard a lot of black gospel then. Along the way, I discovered, that in addition, before he was a rock pop singer, Sam Cooke sang with the Soul Stirrers.
Great.
And I think I've got about everything they ever recorded, And if I haven't, I will. But I guess Sam was probably my all-time favorite vocalist.
Yeah,
I
agree with you.
I loved his delivery, and he just had such a way,
Yeah.
And when I was a kid in Kingsport, there used to be a black quartet would come visit our church. My dad and his quartet would go visit theirs, and I don't remember who they were, but I do remember that, And so the difference in the music was never a barrier for me.
Yeah.
I don't understand that. I love all kinds of music. I hate racket, and there's probably some of that out there, but music is anywhere from Dixieland to the Django and Rapelli, the big band music, the gospel music, both black and white, Southern gospel, country gospel, bluegrass, country. I like it all. I just have never. I enjoy music. Music is lifting. It's uplifting. It lifts your spirits, And why would anybody put themselves? Well, I'm not going to listen to that. I'm not going to listen to this. I only listen to this. In my opinion, it's my humble opinion, people are missing a lot of joy.